Whoa. Whoa. Hi, chat. Good evening. Oh my god, my model's lagging. Okay, there we go. Whoa. Yippee. That's what I said. Oh, how you all doing? It's been a week. It has been a week. It has been a hell of a week. 2 weeks, actually. Well, a month. It's been a hell of a month. And I'm talking about April, not about May. If I'm talking about May, it'd be like, oh, what a month, hey, Captain, it's only the 3rd. No, I'm talking about April. Cause man, roller coaster. Real fucking roller coaster. Insane highlights. It ain't even the 3rd, Homegirl lost count. Dude, I haven't yet had a day of rest since production on the World Outside wrapped, because I can't afford to. I had to delay a bunch of other projects to work on the World Outside, and now the deadlines of those projects are catching up. So I need to keep working because they need to be done. So I haven't actually taken a true day of rest since production on the World Outside wrapped. I'll probably be able to, like, in a week or so. But there ain't no rest for the wicked. Especially not after what I'm about to tell you today. Because what I'm about to tell you, and I'm not gonna do it yet, I'm gonna wait for people to trickle in, you know, I gotta edge people, make sure that they stay here until the announcement. I'm not gonna tell it immediately. I wanna make sure that as many people are in here as possible before I share anything. But especially after what I'm about to tell you, I know for a fact that I'm gonna be busy for a little bit. And that's a good thing. That is a good thing. I promise. But I kind of just want to like pick up where we left off earlier this week. You probably, if you've had any interactions with me, like at all, in the last week, you probably haven't heard me shut up about the World Outside, because I haven't actually shut up about it. Oh my god, wait, where's this fucking image? I made this, we were talking with the 2 crew. 2 crew for the record, TWO crew, it's the World Outside crew. We call it the 2 crew because it's cute. I fucking made this. They don't know I worked on the World Outside. Yeah, we do. Rosa, you literally haven't stopped talking about it. Yeah, like, that is certainly a thing that happened. I did a little Zatsu stream a couple days ago, right after the Remix Relay wrapped, to talk a little bit about, like, what it was like working on that. And the problem with that stream was I just didn't have enough time. I'ma be real, I talked for an hour and a half, and I feel like I barely got through anything. Because there was just so many thoughts that I had, and so many things that I had to say, so many things I had to blurt out, to get my feelings across. So many people that I didn't mention during that stream that very much deserve one. And I've given all those people like their individual mentions, like, to them directly. I've talked to a lot of people over the last like few days about, you know, everything. But man, yeah, that was a highlight of my career, I'm not gonna lie. But then on the other hand, you know, we've had the VTubing industry kind of just implode over the last like 30 days-ish. Obviously, we had a couple of pretty big graduations. We had, I mean, most notably, obviously, Gargura. We had Nagashi Mume. We had Ike Eveland, who just disappeared. I mean, likely, like, I'm not going to speculate about Ike, obviously, because from a lot of the things that we know, like, and the letter that he left, it was very much like his own decision to go out in the way that he did, but like still shocking, right? Nonetheless, there was a lot of people, there were a lot of people out there who appreciated the stuff that he did. And it hurts to just see someone like really not mentally want to be in that space and decide that for them it is the best to leave the agency and have their content scrubbed from the internet. And that's unfortunate, but if that is the decision that somebody makes, then, you know, you ultimately have to respect that. But still, nonetheless, like, a lot of people were quite crushed by that. We obviously had the entire situation with Cinder happening, and I'm not gonna go too deep into that, but, like, some of my friends were, you know, decently involved with everything that went down with that. And it pisses me off. Like, that entire situation pissed me off. That was in the middle of working on the world outside that all came to light. So I haven't had much time to think about it, really, until, like, recently. Because that whole thing came out right as production on the world outside started. So I did not have time to really think about it. Obviously, personally, I wasn't involved directly with like Cinder or anything like that, not even close. But some of my friends do work with people who are involved with all of that, and they did not have a great time. Let me tell you, like that was not a fun week for them. TLDR, if you are in this industry that is entirely built on personality, creativity, the idea of being an artist, then maybe, just maybe, and this is a suggestion, maybe don't treat your relationships with other people as business transactions. Maybe. That's the only thing I can say about that whole situation. What did you miss? Nothing yet. I haven't made the announcement yet. Do not worry. It's still coming. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. I'm just like catching up on everything that happened in like the last 2 weeks or so. Yeah, no, I've known a few people who operate on a similar moral compass as Cinder did. Maybe not as egregious. Maybe they haven't gone as far, because obviously, like, Cinder and her manager, but not really manager, more also bed partner, like, they were very, very far in doing all of this. Like, that had just gone beyond, like, a couple of small things. Like, they were, like, that was full-on manipulation, right? And full-on just, like, genuinely being evil. But, like, I know, and I have worked with quite a few people in this industry who have a similar moral compass. And the thing that really, like, grinds my gears, so to speak, is seeing that whole Cinder situation get unraveled, uncovered, and then having those people who I know are doing similar things post about how awful Cinder is and about how no one should ever be like that and how you shouldn't give up on trying to find friends in the industry. And I agree. I agree with all of that. You shouldn't give up on finding friends in the industry. You shouldn't. Or Cinder is an awful person for doing what she did. I agree with all of that. Like, you're right. It's just that you're a hypocrite for saying it, and the people don't know yet, and I'm not the person who's gonna call someone out for that. Because I don't want to fucking start drama. But, like, there are more people who do similar things, because ultimately, creativity is a very important thing, but creativity can also make income. And I'm very glad that it can. Let me say that, like, I'm very glad that you can make a living with your creativity if you do it right. Because it means that someone can actually dedicate their time to being creative, as opposed to having to try and be creative while going through all of the other motions of life. They can dedicate themselves more to it. So, like, I think it's good that you can, but the issue with being able to make a living out of your creativity is that creativity and business will start overlapping. And the more of a full circle that Venn diagram becomes, the more, like dangerous territory you get into. Obviously, there's always going to be a bit of overlap, right? If you want to make a living out of this, there's always going to be a bit of overlap between creativity and business. That's going to happen because you need to make enough income to live if this is what you want to do for a living. Everyone's going to have to do that. But the moment that those lines start to get blurry and that the overlap becomes a bit too much is when you get someone like Cinder and Red. It's as simple as that. I'm not gonna talk more about that. If you are a creator, please make friends. You make friends, but be careful, is what I can say. Don't be afraid to do a reality check every once in a while. Because yes, there are bad people in the industry, but there are bad people in every industry. You're not gonna get away from those, right? You're gonna find bad actors no matter where you go. But the most important thing is don't let yourself get walked over. Ultimately, you are not responsible for anyone else's actions, but you can try to navigate around them. And obviously, like, what happened to someone like Nanolus is not her fault in the slightest. I'm not saying, like, oh, Nano should have navigated that better, or she should have dropped Cinder and Red, like, way sooner. But because, like, she was being treated as a friend. And if you haven't been burnt yet by something like this, you don't notice. I come from experience. I wasn't burnt by something like this until recently. And that gave me a big reality check of I need to, like, every so often, I need to just sit with myself and think, hey, okay, these people that I'm interacting with and these people that I'm talking to, like, do I actually want to continue doing that? Are those people costing me more energy than I think they realistically should? Because every interaction costs some kind of energy, right? Some people are, like, so easy to be around that you might gain energy from it. Those exist too. But, like, especially when it comes to working, like, most people that you're spending time around cost some form of energy, and that's okay. Like, hanging around your friends costs energy, but you'll have a really fun time doing so. But sometimes you just need to evaluate, like, is the amount of energy that you are putting into something worth it? And that's a difficult thing to think about. That's a really difficult thing to think about. Emma, I'm gonna kill you. God damn it. Let me pull it up on stream. I fucking hate you. No, wait, hold up. No, we can do this, There we go. Anyway. Wanna know what really grinds my gears, chat? Fuck, let me fucking revert all of that. Get it out of here. Anywho. Yeah, like, every so often, do a little reality check with yourself about, like, whether you are putting a lot of energy into something and whether that is worth it. And now that's a very hard thing. I'm not saying that your friendships and relationships should be transactional, obviously not. Like, having a transactional, there's a difference between having a transactional friendship and doing things for each other, being there for each other. If one person is going through a really, really rough time, and you are giving them a lot of support during that time, they might not be able to give as much support back because they're going through a really tough time, right? The point I'm trying to make is not that all of your relationships should be transactional, as in there should be an equivalent exchange constantly going on, because that's not healthy. But what I am saying is that sometimes there will be people that you are putting a lot of energy into and you don't feel like emotionally, mentally, not even like tangibly, but purely emotionally and mentally, you are getting something worth the energy that you're putting into out of it. And that doesn't have to be short term, I'm talking long term. In the short term, obviously, there's probably always gonna be one side that's greater than the other. But in like the long term, if you're looking at a friendship over the course of like 3 years, right? There will always be ups and downs. But ultimately, at the end of those 3 years, if you would say like, yeah, I'm pretty happy with like where everything is. God, I'm going way off the rails, aren't I? Dude, I should do more Zatsu streams. I'm good at yapping. I'm starting to realize that I'm getting better at yapping recently, and I don't know why. I think it's because I'm doing a lot better mentally. I used to struggle with this shit so much, man. I used to struggle so much to, like, keep a consistent train of thought going. I mean, okay, my trains of thought aren't exactly consistent. You know, we love the ADHD getting distracted, as I am getting distracted right now by mentioning my ADHD. But I used to suck at, like, just keeping conversation going, even if there's, like, no one in the chat. I feel like I'm getting so much better at that recently, just being a yapper. So I'm probably gonna be doing a little bit more yapping, a little bit. I'd love to play some piano in a little bit, but I think it's time for a little bit of an announcement, chat. It's quite a serious announcement. Like, it's not like something that we take lightly, or that you should take lightly, because it's genuinely quite big. Shadow the Hedgehog. I'm gonna live and learn. And I'm going to hang on the edge of tomorrow. No, but like, I am serious that, like, this is a very big announcement. It's not going to mean a lot immediately. You may not notice anything after this announcement immediately, but some things are gonna be changing around here. For the better, I hope, and in a way that I hope that you will all enjoy and appreciate. But that being said, quickly needed to transition to a new scene just so I have the thing. I'm going to be reading a little post for all of you that I'm about to post to my socials. It is a very exciting thing, and I genuinely hope that you will be excited for me as well. Alright, so, let me pull up the image so that I can read it, and let me put it on screen so that you can read it too. Hopefully it'll be big enough. You know what, let's keep the exciting announcement, or let's keep the exciting music on, because it's fun. Alright. Obviously we are going for a black text on white background kind of deal. Important announcement, Rosa Nagashi. Ah, you didn't seriously think this was a graduation, right? Nah, I wouldn't do that to you right after the month that we all just went through. It's been a hell of a roller coaster for all of us these past few weeks, and I figure that for a change of pace, I should share a really cool announcement regarding the future of my time on the internet. As of yesterday, May 1st, 2025, I now officially have a manager. I am no longer a one-girl operation. The name is Typho, at HeyoTypho. You may have seen them join the Discord a couple of weeks ago. They haven't actually said anything, and that's because we've been talking about this in the background since then. Since before then, I think, actually. And they're going to be assisting me in making a lot more cool things for all of you. They're a friend I made in this industry almost 2 years ago now, and they're genuinely a fantastic human being. I can assure you that I am in good hands and that my future looks even brighter with their assistance. Wahoo Tippo! So what does this mean for the future of my presence on the internet? For the next few weeks, it's not really gonna look like much is changing yet, since we are gonna be doing a lot of things in the background to get everything ready and sorted for me kicking this whole operation into overdrive. Once things get going, though, you can expect more frequent output of streams, videos, and some other cool things that I've never done before. I'm not gonna change. I will still be the Rosa Nagashi you all know, and I am still in charge of all final decisions made for my channel. That is a very important thing. I'm not joining an agency. I'm not giving up the rights to my channel to a manager and that they make decisions for me. I have hired them as a manager, and I'm the one making decisions that they will help me with. So it's the opposite of what it would normally be with where an agency hires a talent and then has a manager for that talent. It's now the talent hires the manager, if that makes sense. However, I will be trying out some new things here and there. You may see some new styles of content, playing games that I haven't ever played before, delve into new video formats, or perhaps something genuinely wild that nobody was expecting. I'll do my best to stay in contact with all of you about what's happening, where things are going, and what your thoughts are on all of it, because the last thing that I want to do is alienate you by going in a direction you don't want to support. I want to continue being your Oshi no matter what. For now, though, I just want to say thank you all so much for the years of love. I never imagined I would get to do so many cool things that people would watch. I've had genuinely life-changing experiences making music and being an entertainer, and I'm so excited for this next chapter to begin. Whether you've been here for years or whether you've only just seen me for the first time, you're all incredibly important to me, and I hope that I can continue making you proud for many more years to come. Stay safe, stay comfy, and chase your dreams. Rosa Nagashi. Woo! Will we have streams that have the both of you? Maybe, but not in the sense that it's a manager joining my streams and, like, talking about management stuff. Will we play games together? Maybe at some point? Yeah, possibly. Opening Pokemon cards together? Yeah, sure. Typho's a big fan of Pokemon cards. We've been sharing our card journey with Typho for a while. And it's really, really fun. So they may appear on stream, but Typho's mostly just gonna be assisting me, working in the background. They are not a very public-facing manager with most of their talents, but you may see them around in chat, you may see them around in the Discord. So yeah, the things that I'm gonna be doing with Typho pertain to a lot of stuff. We've been talking about a lot of things. Especially, we had a very long meeting yesterday, on like the kickoff day, to kind of chat about like where everything's going. So a lot of it I can't talk about yet. A lot of it is still like we are still figuring it out. We are still working on it. We are still like planning stuff. We're in the early stages. Like I have only just properly started with them, which means that a lot of the things that can be done are only just now starting up. We are literally in the like the planning and concepting stages of things. But the things that we have already talked about are really, really cool. Will this mean a potential Nagashi merch drop? Maybe. That maybe. Like, I'm not gonna, like, say yes or no to anything, but it's definitely, like, not a guaranteed no. There's a maybe. Like, who the fuck knows? Genuinely. I don't know. If that door opens up, then we'll see what we can do. That's the main thing that this is gonna allow me to do. This is going to open a lot of doors for me that either have previously been closed or I didn't previously know that they could be opened. right? Typho has a different view on everything that I'm doing, right? I'm coming from it from a view of my own experience and me as a creator and the things that I've done. Typho's coming in with the view of having looked at multiple people's creative careers and like guiding them in different directions that they maybe didn't know were possible. So that's what they're going to be helping me with. They're going to be helping me with doing things that either I just need help with or I do not know how to do. They're gonna put me in contact with people that might be able to help me with things, whether it's like freelancers for like video editing or things like that if I ever need help with that, or whether it's people for like content opportunities, whatever, right? I'm not gonna make any claims on the things that we could potentially be doing because I don't want to disappoint any of you if they're not happening. I'm just saying that we'll be trying our best to do as many cool things as possible. So that's the big announcement. Once we have a little bit more concrete plans on what's happening, and once those are set up, I will probably make a little announcement video properly going over like what's changing, because right now what I'm saying is what's changing is I don't know. Even though I do know some of the things that are changing, I know the things that we're planning, but it's just depending on whether they work out or not, right? The reason I wanted to announce this early is not only to kind of ride the high of the world outside, but also because I want to try my best to show that this isn't me making a bunch of decisions on my own all of a sudden out of nowhere, and maybe they're not going to be as well liked. This is me opening a conversation with you. This is me going, this is a really cool opportunity that I've had, and it's going to allow me to do a bunch of things, but I don't want to just do those things without letting you know about it. I'm not... We joke a lot about like parasocialness in the VTubing industry, but like I do genuinely want to maintain a close relationship with all of you. I don't want to just make decisions without knowing whether there is an audience for those decisions that likes them. Because ultimately, my main goal isn't just to do things that like I enjoy doing, but also to genuinely be an entertainer, right? By whatever way that means. As of what this means for my commissions and for my like music career in terms of working with other people, not much, actually. They're just gonna help me keep a closer eye on things and make sure that I can schedule in enough time for both streaming and videos and commission work and everything in between, so that hopefully my day-to-day will be a little bit more smooth than it has been, because I've been kind of all over the place. I have a lot of projects that I'm already working on, like right now. That as of right now, there are multiple things that I am involved in that you do not know about yet. And that's going to keep going. And they're going to help me keep that all in one place and keep that all organized, because honestly, being someone very neuronormal, having another person, having just a second pair of eyes and a second pair of hands every so often, just to make sure that everything is still on the right track, can do so much. And that honestly is the main reason why I made this decision. There were a lot of other reasons why I made this decision. It's because I do think that Typho has skills, connections, and the ability to create opportunities for me that otherwise wouldn't have been created. That is obviously a reason, but the primary reason was genuinely just to have somebody there that I can ramble to once a week, that I can have like a long one-on-one ramble session with once a week, and can help me organize all of those thoughts into a clear and concrete plan of what needs to be done for the next couple of days so I can do it. I have deadlines for my own things that I can hold myself to, and I have someone kicking my ass if I don't. That's genuinely the main reason why I went for this. It's just to, like, hold myself to things that I want to do by involving somebody else in it. Because by involving somebody else in it, I'm no longer just doing this for myself. I'm also doing this because, like someone else is helping me, right? I have a big fear of disappointing people, but if I am just working on my own and I'm not announcing anything that I'm working on, if I ever do not finish something, I'm not disappointing anyone but myself because nobody knew about it, right? Now, somebody will know about it. Because I'm going to be telling them about all of my plans, and they're going to be holding me to doing them. Or at least if I don't do them, come up with a good reason why. Why shouldn't I do a thing that I really wanted to do? And maybe then try to think about if I don't want to do that, then could we maybe change that idea up, do something else? So yeah, it's really, really cool. Typho is someone that I genuinely really respect. To get a little sappy, if it were not for Typho, I would not be in this industry right now. I would have probably graduated a couple months ago if it wasn't for Typho. Both as a creator, but also as a freelancer. I would have dropped out the industry if it wasn't for Typho, and I'm genuinely so serious about that. I had some really awful experiences in the tail end of last year. Honestly, throughout a large part of last year, not just the tail end. Like, a large part of last year, I had some pretty awful experiences. And I was kind of convinced at one point that, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. And if you watched the piano version video of The World Outside, I go into, like, a very tiny amount of detail there. Of, like, yeah, maybe I just wasn't cut out for this. And there are 3 main events that helped me realize that I was cut out for it and that I do want to do this. And that's ultimately what's led to this. Those 3 main events were, number 1, Typho reaching back out to me and going, hey, a couple of my talents want to do music. Would you be down to assist them with making their first cover? And that was at a time where I'd kind of already given up on it, but Typho was someone I always kind of looked up to and respected. So I said yes. There was a very solid chance that I could have said no in that time, but for some reason I said yes, and Typho was really nice to me that entire time, and tried their best to, like, really have my back, right? If any opportunity came up that Typho was able to kind of, like, shill for me, they did. If they had any of their own talents, or any friends who were like, hey, I need mixers, I need musicians, do you know anybody? Typho would be having my back, and would immediately recommend me, which is how event number 2 happened. And event number 2 is what I think, like, firmly solidified at least me wanting to give it another chance. And event number 2 was Ray's Valentine's Day concert, which I wouldn't have participated in if it wasn't for Typho, because Typho is the person who put me in contact with Ray. That Valentine's Day concert, I met so many different creators. We worked with 50 VTubers on, I believe it was 32 songs? I do not remember the final count. But speaking of that, actually, if you've been watching Ray's Twitter, and maybe by extension the posts I've been retweeting, Ray's working on another one, and I may or may not be assisting again, and I'm very excited. Obviously not going to say anything else about that, because that's not my place, but if you are a vocalist and you're watching, or you are a mixer or a producer, please go to Ray's Twitter. I've retweeted them as well, so if you go to my Twitter, you should be able to find them, but please go to Ray's Twitter and send a DM, send a reply. Please, genuinely. It'd be really, really cool. And that, like, made me interact with a lot more creators and be part. That was the first time that I really felt like I was part of something, like, a lot bigger than myself in this industry. Like, genuinely a part of, not just, like, something that I did a small contribution towards, but something that I genuinely was actively involved in. And a lot of those creators I'm still in contact with now, and they've reached out for commissions or for other stuff, and that's been really, really fun. And then event number 3, obviously, it's the thing that I haven't been shutting up about for the last couple of days, was the world outside. Coming off of just me replying to a Twitter post, which I didn't think would result in everything that happened. But, yeah, it's crazy, man. 130 plus people. I think the final count's like around 140, 150, all coming together, and within the span of 12 days, going from the starting of Riku's songwriting to uploading of the video that we ended up uploading in a 12-day span has been the most crazy experience that I have ever had in my entire life, in the most positive way possible. And that's what firmly solidified, like, my want to be in this industry. I'd already made the decision, that was done in 12 days. Yes, yeah, it was done in 12 days. We didn't have more time. The song was written the morning, or the night, I guess, Gura announced her graduation. And it needed to be finished before she graduated, because we wanted to give it to her as a parting gift. So we only had 14 days. She only gave us 2 weeks. So that whole thing was done in 12 days, yeah. 12 days of... I didn't come in on day 1. I think I came in on, like, day 2 or 3. I think it was day 3 that I came in. Yeah, I think I came in day 3. So I was there for, like, 9, 10-ish days. And every single day, it was a, like, 12 to 16-hour endeavor of just going at it until it was done. And that's been probably the most fulfilling experience of my entire life, because the amount of people that I've met during working on that project is insane to me. And the amount of people that I've clicked really, really well with is insane to me. I've clicked really well with Riku, with Shiro, with Chris, our Toontime lead, with all of the other people on the music and Toontime team. Like, I really feel like we really just, like, became a connected friend group at the end. I had a crazy experience with Zephyriana, who is also a VTuber and mixer and insane metal singer, by the way. She has a cover of Ashigen, Gura's last Ori song, coming out tomorrow. And from the previews that she's posted, you're probably gonna want to watch that, because holy shit. But I had a genuinely, like, transcending experience with her, because what happened was I was in the VC working on tune timing of, I think it was the main vocal. I think it was Alina's main vocal. And we were just sitting in there while working. She hopped in. She was part of the Toontime team as well. So she was grabbing a couple herself and, you know, going through it, doing a really, really good job. And she quickly checked in on what Chris and I were doing, which was working on the main vocal. And I was struggling with one specific part of the song. I just couldn't quite get it right. And she is way more skilled and way more experienced than I am. Why do I keep hearing tune timing like it's a manifestation of Toon Force? No, it's a tune timing. T-U-N-E timing. So what happened was, because she's way more experienced and, like, skilled than I am at it, like, she was pointing out some things that I wasn't really realizing that I should probably do. So we were going through the whole thing, and, like, saying like, oh, maybe adjust that slightly this way. And at one point, I don't know what happened, but I hit some sort of flow state where I started to understand why she was asking me to change certain things, and I was starting to like, it wasn't just a you should change this and me doing it but not really understanding why. It was like I was getting it, right? And at one point, I was making changes right as she started telling me that I should make that exact change. And it felt like we were like telepathically communicating with each other at one point. And that's one of the like coolest experiences I've ever had working on music so closely with other people, because we were in the VC with a lot of people after that, and I remember Pebble, the project lead, or the admin, like the project manager, after that whole ordeal going, y'all, I don't know much about like what goes into tune timing and what goes into audio, but like what I just watched was genuinely fucking magical. And it really was. Because it was so fucking cool. And I know that like to anyone who has worked a lot with other people before, it's probably like something you've experienced a lot. I haven't ever experienced something like that before, where you really just like connect with someone and both of you realize what the end goal that you want to get to is, but neither of you are saying it out loud. You know what? I should probably actually post that announcement. I should actually post that announcement really quick. Whoa! If it were not for you, I would have never given myself the chance to think with using myself and be too scared if not for you, so thank you. Aw! That means a lot. Thank you so much, Emma, for 12 months! Holy shit! Quickly letting Typho know that the announcement is out. Anyway, where the fuck was I? Right, so like, I've never had that experience where I really just like locked in together with somebody. I had a lot of those moments with Chris as well, like for the rest of the week, but like that was the first time that happened to me. Like that was the first time that like genuinely like occurred to me that was a thing that could happen. And for the rest of the week, I had so many more of those moments with the other tune timers that like genuinely changed the way that I see music, and it changed the way that I see creativity, because it's no longer about, oh god, how do I explain this in like a poetic way? I've always seen creativity as a very personal thing. Everyone has their own creativity. Everyone has the ability to create something great. I do firmly believe that. I believe that everyone has it within themselves to create something really, really cool. Whatever that may be. That doesn't mean that it has to be art or music or writing. It can be an ice sculpture. It can be a really like nicely built house. It can be like, it can be so many different things, right? It can be physical, it can be tangible, it can be an idea, it can be a piece of paper that you've written something on. It can be so many things. But everyone has the ability to create something, right? Everyone has the ability to make something that's bigger than themselves. That transcends, like, their own ability. It's just, the way that I previously saw that was that everyone has to face that task, ultimately, not necessarily entirely on their own, but more just, you have your own creative vision, other people have their creative vision. If you want your creative vision to come to life, you're gonna have to do that yourself. I don't believe that anymore. After the last 2 weeks, I firmly believe that creativity is a collaborative thing. Obviously, I never thought that it wasn't a collaborative thing, but I always thought that, like... how do I explain this? I always thought that if you truly wanted something to come together in the way that you wanted it to, you were going to need to make that happen yourself. And while you could involve other people in making that happen, there would still always be a person giving the direction, right? There would still always be one person going, this is what needs doing now, and then everyone would do it. I don't believe in that anymore, because with the world outside, I'm gonna be real, that's not what happened. Yes, we had a project lead in Riku. Yes, we had a project manager. But I never felt like there was one person who held the creative vision for the whole thing. That creative vision was entirely collaborative. Obviously, Riku is what inspired all of us, is who inspired all of us by like writing the song and setting everything up, setting up the story, setting up the idea, helping with the storyboard of the animation, giving the musicians direction. But like, after that was started, the creative vision of the project wasn't something that was held intact by a single person. It was something that was actively being molded and changed over time into something that every single one of us could get behind. Like the instrumental, for example. Like, Riku provided the initial, like, uke recording of it, and that was basically it, nothing else. It was just the uke recording and then a, like, vocal synth doing all of the voices. That was what the initial, like, draft of the song was. There was nothing else. There was no orchestra, there was no piano, there was no bass, there were no drums. There was nothing, right? It was just that. And Riku didn't go, this song needs an orchestra part, this song needs a piano part, and this is what they need to sound like, and the song needs drums, and this is what those need to sound like. He didn't do that. He was like, if you have an idea of something that can be added to the song, post it in the music coordination channel and we'll see how it works together. And what ended up happening was multiple people all ended up creating different parts to the song entirely in parallel, not like collaboratively with each other necessarily. It wasn't that I was seeing what other people were doing and then I was like, oh, maybe we should add this on top of it. And then someone else, after hearing what I added on top of it, went, oh, maybe we should add this on top of it. No, all of those things were happening at the same time. So within like 2 days of each other, we had one person doing a piano part, we had someone doing bass, we had me doing piano, we had someone doing an entire orchestra sequence. But that was all happening at the same time, so by the time that we submitted all of that, we hadn't really listened to each other's contributions, but we'd all provided something, and they just worked. Everyone put their own little bit of creative vision into the project, into the song, and it just worked. Right? And that fascinated me, because that shouldn't, in my own head, that should not have been possible with what my previous view on creativity was. That shouldn't have been a thing that happened, but it did. And that's so cool. Right? Like, I'm so happy about that. So yeah, like, this project has changed the way that I think about creativity, and I am forever a changed person in the best way possible. Sorry, I just signed up to another piece of work while this is going on. Isn't that fucking crazy? I'm responding to messages about, hey, can you work on this while I'm doing the stream? Do you understand how much my life is being changed, man? Just don't become a workaholic too late. It's too late. I will inevitably. Look. Let's be real, right? Let's keep it a buck. I am turning something I enjoy doing into a job. Unquestionably, yes, that's true. And, you know, a lot of people always say, like, don't turn your hobby into a job because you'll start hating it. I fundamentally don't believe in that. I fundamentally disagree with that. Because I do think that turning your hobby into a job means that you'll be able to make your life more fulfilling by doing the things that you enjoy doing. Now, the thing is, even in the things that you enjoy doing, there's something that you enjoy the least. For me, personally, you know what I enjoy the least about everything that I do? The thing that I enjoy the least, by far, you know, I should take the important announcement off the screen, actually. If you won't be the one in control. Yes, exactly. I believe that the thing that I enjoy the least is, it's posting. I love making things. But once it's made, it needs to get out there. And for that, you need to make a video, you need to, and sometimes I have like a very big creative vision for the video. I loved working on the video for the piano version of The World Outside, because going into it, I had a very clear creative vision of what I wanted that video to be. And my, like, internal pitch for that was, I want this video to be my story of working in this industry, specifically leading up to The World Outside, told as a love letter to the people that I worked with. The World Outside itself was a love letter to Gura and everything that she's done and everything that she's meant to so many of us. I wanted my piano version to instead be a love letter to the people who helped make that love letter for Gura. That was my pitch for it, which means that it's targeting a lot less people, which is why I'm not upset if it doesn't get seen by many people, because it's not, that video was never meant to be for a wider audience. That video was meant for us. It was meant for the people who helped make it, who helped make The World Outside. I had a very clear creative vision for that, and I loved making that video. But the other things like making all of your social media posts, making doing the submission to fucking streaming services, music distribution, I hate music distribution. I wish all music distributors and streaming services a very, very large, have you considered please changing your business model to make it slightly easier for us? I'm begging, please, please. I'm gonna have to teach my manager about music distribution, because that's not a field they're very familiar in, and oh my god, they're gonna hate it just as much as I am. But yes, my manager's gonna help me oversee all of that, and make sure that like everything gets posted properly and everything goes out there properly, analyze why something is doing well and why something isn't doing well. Shiro going, you scared me, L. I love scaring people with announcements on the internet. I love black text on white background. It's a tiny bit of clickbait, but you know, what can you do? You gotta get your announcement out there somehow, right? Might be able to get another perspective on that via but yeah, so like the interesting thing about turning your hobby into a job is it depends on how you do it. If I really enjoy, let's take like an example from a previous time in my life. I really enjoyed game development, game design, and like thinking about like games from like a a more, like, in-depth, kind of philosophical aspect, and I tried to turn that into a job. I went to study game development for about 3 to 4 years. And let me tell you, that was an awful idea, and I should never have done that. And, like, I was too blindsided by how much I enjoyed all of it in theory, and how much I enjoyed, like, thinking about that stuff and doing stuff like that in my own time. Like, I didn't realize how much extra stuff there was going on there, and that I was not cut out for that. I wasn't, and I did not realize that. And turning that into something that I actually studied so that I could actually maybe make a career out of it was not the right decision for me, and it burnt me out, because suddenly, here's the big difference. I went from occasionally thinking about fun game dev stuff in my free time for a couple of hours a week to having to think about it for 40 to 60 hours a week and having to do it every single day, right? That's what changed with music and with like putting stuff on the internet. That's been something that I've slowly started doing more and more and more of. I didn't immediately flip that switch of turning it into a career. The career kind of happened to me. I started doing it because I thought it was fun, and I enjoyed doing it. At some point, the very, very tiniest beginnings of, like, turning it into a living started happening. Obviously nowhere close to realistic, and even now it is. I cannot make a living out of this. The only reason that I'm able to do it is because I do not live on my own. I'm only able to do this because I live with other people who support what I do and who help me out. I have an incredibly hardworking partner who is working as we speak, who is okay with me trying this out. And we've had a lot of, like, long conversations about all of this, about, like, whether it's worth it, whether it's worth going into something else instead. Like, this isn't something that I'm just doing. We know... If my soundboard didn't just break right in front of me, I would have dropped a metal pipe on you. Love you, Atlas. But yeah, like, the only reason that I'm turning this into something that, like, turning this into a job is because it slowly evolved towards that. It wasn't a snap decision that I made by, like, joining a company, or, like, by applying to a company to work in the industry, or by studying. I haven't studied music. I haven't, like, gone to a university to study music and, like, dedicated so many years of my life to that. I got here very naturally. And on top of that, I am in charge. Ultimately, obviously, when you're turning something into a livelihood, even if you are in charge, sometimes you still just have to do things that you don't want to do. Most of the time, you'll have to do things that you do not want to do. Because not doing them would mean not having your livelihood, you know? And that is important. But you are still the one, I'm still the one making decisions. I'm still the one going, this might be a bit too much for me to do. Let's see what we can change. And I'm gonna be having weekly talks with someone who's going to help keep me in check, who's going to help me evaluate what are the things that I've been doing, what's going well, what's not going well, how am I doing emotionally, what is my mental state in all of it? Like, they're not my therapist, obviously, but, like, if something is weighing quite heavily on me and I don't know if I can do it, we can talk about, okay, why not? What's going wrong? Is there a way that we can change it to make it more acceptable and make it easier to bear, right? So that's, like, the thing that's why I fundamentally disagree with the don't turn your hobby into a job. I think the best thing that you can do to enjoy your life is turning a hobby into a job. I do genuinely, like, believe that. I think if you want to thrive, you have to you have to try and fill your life up with the things that you enjoy doing most. Because the last thing that I would want from myself is having to spend the majority of my life doing things that my heart just isn't really in, but having to do it out of necessity. And obviously, that's what most people do. Most people work jobs that their heart probably isn't really in. They just do it because it makes money, and with that money, they can pay their rent. And they need to do it, because if they don't do it, the alternate history is not having a roof above your head and not having food in your cupboards. Right? That's the alternate history. But that's why I'm saying, if you have the chance of turning something that your heart truly is in, and I mean truly your heart is in, not a, like, oh yeah, I guess I kind of enjoy it sort of thing. No, I mean something that your heart is truly in. I think the best thing you can do is try and see how you can make that work. Try and analyze, how can I make this work? And with content creation, that is a really easy thing to do, because you can just upload something, you can make something, and you can put it out there for free. You don't have to do anything for it. You just have to make the thing and put it out there. That's all you need to do. The barrier to entry with this stuff is so low. The barrier to success is extremely high, obviously. The barrier to success is something that not a lot of people are gonna reach. But the barrier to entry, it is near zero. It costs. I remember watching an interview with a creator by the name of Bill Wirtz, who, if you're younger, you might not know who Bill Wirtz is, but if you are someone who's been on the internet for a while, you will absolutely be familiar with either his name or the stuff that he's done. Ever heard of the, oh hey, thanks for checking in, I'm still a piece of garbage? That's him. He made that. I remember him saying that sometimes he would get stuck trying to create something. He wouldn't know what to make, he would just get stuck. And then he would realize, what I'm trying to make is too long. I need to make something shorter. And if that doesn't work, you make something shorter. He, at one point, wanted to put something out there every single day, and he was so stuck at one day that he literally just made a 1-second video that was just like the piano in just like a C major chord, just going, die. And that was it. That was the whole video. It was 1 second. That was it. But he made something, and he put it out there. That's what I mean with the barrier to entry is so low. Another quote from a friend of mine during The World Outside, as we were trying to cheer up the vocalists a little bit, is perfection's the enemy of done. What you put on the internet doesn't need to be perfect. I have never put anything perfect on the internet. I'm a firm believer of that. I have not put anything on the internet that is perfect. The piano version of The World Outside that I put out, probably the proudest I've ever been of a video. It's not perfect. If I go listen to it right now, or if I go watch it right now, there are some things that current me, if I was a few days in the past, would have changed about either the song itself or about the video. Nothing that I have made is perfect. Everyone has, but the thing is, no, and I think most people know that. I think most people know that nothing they put out is perfect, but people want what they put out to be passable. And everyone's definition of passable is very different. My definition of passable is probably a much, much higher bar than what you would consider passable from me. I could upload stuff that was not necessarily worse, but just less polished as the stuff that I do, and most of you would probably still, at the very least, find some enjoyment or entertainment out of it. Like, my bar for what I consider passable is higher than what my viewers consider passable, and I think that is the case for every single creator out there. At least passionate viewers. Like, obviously there's always gonna be haters. There's always gonna be haters who put the bar higher than you. Like, that's the case with everything, but like, that doesn't really matter, because you'll find those people everywhere. But the people who enjoy your stuff and the people who like watching your stuff, their bar is going to be lower than the bar of the creator. And the ideal, like, way to just make something, and why I personally think that the bar for putting something out there on the internet is so low, is because you decide where your bar is. And you decide what your definition of passable is, and depending on what your definition of passable is, your viewers will decide what their definition of something that they enjoy is. Because if you upload something that is shit, if you upload something that's not good, the only people, the people that will enjoy it are okay with the fact that it's not good. Right? Or are okay with the state that it's in. And their bar will be, at the very least, matched, but probably a little bit lower. And then if you make something that's slightly better than that, if you raise your own bar afterwards, those people will go, oh wow, this is even better than I expected, right? So your first thing doesn't have to be perfect. Your first thing doesn't even have to be passable. It doesn't even have to be good. It doesn't even have to be fine. My first thing that I put on the internet was not fine. If I go back to it now, and they're unlisted for very good reasons, if I go back to it now, I'm gonna cringe out of my gourd. I recently watched, like, clips that I have since very much privated from 6-7 years ago, from me streaming in like 2016, 2017, 2018. My God, I was not a good creator, but why the fuck would I be? When you just need to put stuff out there and learn. You need to put things out there that are shit before you can put something out there that's good, and that's why the bar is so low. If you want to try and do something like this, you can. Obligatory can we see it? Fuck no. God, fuck no. Absolutely not. All of the stuff that I think that, like, is worthwhile of seeing, you can see if you search hard enough. They're either, like, gonna be buried on my channel, or they're gonna be on... They'll be somewhere. But, like, even, like, the old videos on my channel that aren't unlisted, a lot of them right now, I do not think are good. Is this including Death Singer's Drip? No, that's peak. No, that shit's peak. No. Death Singer's Drip is without fault, because it was meant to be a shitpost. That's why shitposts are so... Dude, making shitposts on the internet, I swear to God, if you want to find your creative voice and put something... and find the confidence to put something out there that isn't perfect, make shitposts on the internet. Genuinely. I am so serious about this. I cannot begin to explain how serious I am about that, because the whole idea of a shitpost is that it's meant to be shit. It's meant to be a joke. It's meant to not be serious. Which means that you can cut so many corners. Death Singer's Drip, you don't understand the amount of corners I cut to get that to, like, to get that joke to land perfectly. I took the Death Singer's Dirge from the Taken King soundtrack, which is like just a bunch of hive screaming, and I cut up the entire thing to make sure that the screams aligned with like a certain BPM so I could put lo-fi drums to it. Right? But even then, like, I did that so crudely and so awfully, and it's so audible if you notice it. Or if you, like, listen for it, it's so audible that I'm doing so many cuts and so many edits. Like, I'm now asking to hear it in a not as a /J thing. Oh yeah, Death Singer's Drip, it's on my channel. It's a quote-unquote lo-fi remix of Death Singer's Dirge from The Taken King. You can go find it. It's still public. It was an April Fool's upload for April Fool's 2021, 2022? I don't fucking remember. But that whole thing is like, it's so shit. It's so bad, but it's funny. It got the joke across. It made some people laugh. It made some people smile. Even right now, it's been like 3-4 fucking years, and this one random fuck in chat, and you're not a random fuck, you're a friend of mine. I appreciate you. But metaphorically speaking, this one random fuck in my chat is still going that thing brought them joy back then. Like, and that was a shitpost that was put together in like 2 hours in the most crude way possible. It was not good. If any musician or any person with any experience in a digital audio workstation looks at that project file, they would profusely start vomiting and shitting themselves. But that doesn't matter, because that's not the point. The point of that video wasn't to make something good. It was to make a few people laugh. That was the point of that video, and you can make people laugh with very fucking little. You can entertain someone with very little effort. And, like, I'm gonna give an example here that upsets me, but, like, the entire reason that that AI-generated content can take off, and I hate that it can, but the entire reason that AI-generated content can take off, the entire reason that reaction content does so incredibly well, is just, like, all of those are prime examples of you can entertain someone with very low effort, and a lot of those I don't think are ethical. Like, reaction content I only think is ethical if you have explicit permission from the original creator to do so, and if you make it very, very clear what the thing you're reacting to is, and where one could find more of it. And if you provide, like, genuine insight, then I think that's okay. I think there is an ethical way to do react content. And of course, AI-generated content is just, like, it's the plagiarism machine, right? Like, if you make anything that is AI-generated, there's a difference between AI-generated and AI-assisted. AI-assisted, I'm sure that there's a case for it. I'm sure that there are things that you can do that are assisted by some form of AI, but as long as you are still the person making the calls and making the creative decisions and having the creative vision. Text-to-speech isn't even AI-generated. That's just, like, there's a difference between speech synthesis, which is what text-to-speech is, and speech generation. Because speech synthesis is, it's using someone's real voice who has provided them for the sole purpose of being a speech synthesizer. Whereas an AI-generated voice can be taking a bunch of voice clips from someone without their consent and turning them into a program that can just spit out whatever you want it to spit out, right? There is a clear difference. But anyway, not the point. Like, but the whole point of all of this is that, like, all of those things, AI-generated content is the most low-effort thing that anyone could put on the internet, and you shouldn't put it on the internet. But the reason that it works is because people are entertained by it for some fucking reason, and I hate that people are, but that just goes to show, if someone can entertain somebody by literally not doing any of the work themselves, if you have an idea that you think is entertaining, you can make that idea in the most simplest form possible and probably entertain someone. AI can never make art because it will never be forced to post something it isn't 100% happy with. Yeah. No, that's a really good fucking quote. I agree. That's yeah. AI can't grow. It can't learn as an artist. It can't learn from its. I mean, it can technically learn from its mistakes. Like in a pure programming sense, the whole idea of a generative AI is that you're feeding it a bunch of data, and then you ask it something, and if it spits out something good, you give it a pat on the back, and if it spits out something bad, you give it a slap on the wrist, right? That's how AI works. Or, well, that's how machine learning works, right? The whole point of machine learning is you punish an AI for doing something good, or doing something bad, you reward an AI for doing something good, and then it learns from that, right? So, yes, technically speaking, an AI can, quote-unquote, learn. But, like, an AI can only learn as much as the stuff that is put into it allows them to learn. You are predicting pixel placement based on probability and mashing pre-existing images together. You are a blender with a brain using stolen ingredients. Yeah, exactly. Like, I can talk about what I've learned as, like, an artist over the last 2 weeks, right? Like, I've learned so many things from other musicians. Like, different workflows, different tools that I didn't know existed, different methods of making something happen. And those things I learned through human connection and through talking to people and through showing people what I was doing and them giving me their thoughts on it and how it could possibly be a little bit better. I learned in, like, the most pure sense. I learned as in I actively recorded, understood, and applied information that I did not yet have access to before that point. An AI doesn't do that. An AI will just look at something, go, this is something, or this is something I've made, and it is good. And it will not fully understand why. You could write it a prompt and say why it's good or why it's bad, and then it can analyze that prompt and maybe learn something from that. But, like, it will never truly internalize it because it's not human. You can't. Oh my god, it's such a fucking complicated topic, and it's exactly that is why most people don't care. Most people don't give a shit. The average person on the internet will consume AI-generated content and they do not care because they don't have the time to think about all of the moral dilemma and the ethics. They're not an artist. They don't care about, like, they don't care about why an artist is putting something on the internet. They just care about the fact that the thing that is put on the internet is something that they can entertain themselves with for a period of time, right? In the most pure sense, that's why being a creator is a thing that you can do. It's because other people will use the things that you've made to entertain themselves. It's more slop for the slot machine. Yeah, exactly, but it works. Right, and that's the annoying part about it, is that, and this goes for so many different fields, right? Also, hello, Aaron. Welcome in. We are having an existential discussion about what it means to be an artist on the internet. You know what? I feel like this music is, like, way too, like, not chill for this. We need something a bit more chill than let me grab my chill Pokemon music playlist. You know how big of a fan I am of that. Is it this one that I typically use? Yes. That's way too loud. Fantastic. All right. Like, it's so easy to be someone who creates something on the internet, but the problem is that barrier to entry, ever since like social media became a thing, ever since YouTube really took off, ever since the days of Tumblr, Vine, Twitter, Reddit, Instagram, whatever the fuck, TikTok, Musical.ly, like all of these platforms have lowered the barrier to entry to putting something on the internet, but most people have not cared about that lower barrier to entry. Hello, Red Panda Gaming, welcome in. Most people have not cared about that barrier to entry until the stuff that they still needed to make the stuff that needed to be put out there. Like, you can have the barrier to entry as low as possible. You can literally just have a website that has a button, and you click that button, you drag the thing in that you want to put out there, and it's out there. That's how all of these websites work. Want to put something on the internet? Press one button and it's there. If you've made something and you want to show it to other people, press one button and you can. And you can show it to every single person who would care. Well, not entirely true because algorithms exist, but like, you can put it in a place that hopefully has a couple of other people in it that will care or that are interested. It's that easy. You just click the post button. The problem is the thing that you're posting, you still need to make. You still need to be the one to put that together. However simple it is. If it's a 2-second video that you made in 2 seconds by just like holding your camera out, pressing record, and then 2 seconds later pressing stop, like, that's it. And that's something you can put out. It probably won't be very entertaining or very good depending on what that 2-second video is of, but I've seen 2-second videos that I have been thoroughly entertained by. But you still need to do it. You still need to put in the effort. And AI-generated content literally just means that you don't even have to put in the effort anymore. Now, you cannot just... We've gone from pressing a button to put something out there that you've made to now also pressing the button to make it. Right? We're a step further removed from it now. This is not chill, this is fucking Sky Arrow Bridge, dude. Are you kidding me? That's better. Like, the difference is that however many decisions someone will have had to make, whoever was making the thing, saying that you're a same AI artist is like ordering fast food and saying you're a chef. Yeah, I guess if you're the one ordering it, yeah, I agree. But even then, that food is still made by real people. Like, there's still some, like, at that point, you're just, like, plagiarizing. I would say plagiarism is, like, ordering food and then saying that you're a chef. Because you are presenting someone else's hard work as your own. The fast food, as much as it is fast food, is still, like, someone's labor went into that, right? You're just presenting it as your own. I would say that being an AI artist, or, like, saying that you're an AI artist is more... God, like, how can I find a good metaphor for this? Because I'm sure there is one that's close to that. Saying that you're an AI artist is like ordering food from 10 different restaurants, throwing it all in a blender, putting the milkshake that comes out of it into the microwave, then into the oven, then into your deep fryer, into your air fryer too. Why not? Let's do it. And then going back to each one of those restaurants and going, here's the food I made. Right? That's because it's completely lost its connection from what it originally was. Like, it's completely lost its connection to the source material. It's no longer the same. But it is still made up out of it. and it's made from so many different sources that the source material is no longer, like, you can't find where it's from anymore, but it's still stolen, and you're still claiming it as your own. And even then, you've still put in the effort of mishmashing that all together, putting it through the blender, putting it through the microwave, putting it in your deep fryer, in your air fryer, in your oven. Like, that's still effort. Now imagine if you had a robot who did all of that with the press of one button. You pressed one button and that robot ordered all the food for you, and within 5 seconds, the food was at your house, it had been blended, it had been put in the oven, it had been... Okay, dude, why the fuck? Why do you do this? Nightbot deleted the message. For some reason, it still showed up on my chat. I feel like AI will make it more difficult for artists to stand out, but AI cannot make outliers by definition. That's the thing, though. Like, the average person doesn't care about outliers. The average person doesn't give a shit. Why? This is... I selected a playlist of chill Pokemon music. This is not chill. Give me something actually chill. Okay, this looks more like it. I think. Yeah. So, the problem with, like, the AI can't create outliers, I agree that, like, human-generated content will always be better, but that doesn't mean that more people will always care about it. Because, like I said, social media and algorithms and the way the internet has set up have fundamentally warped our minds, because the only reason that we use those websites is because we want to be entertained. Now, we all have a different definition of what entertainment is, but those platforms very much want us to have a specific definition of what entertainment is. They want to guide that decision as much as they can so that they make the most money off of you, right? They want to guide you to content that will entertain, that they think they will entertain you the most with. But because of how much stuff it throws at you, it's very easy to lose your connection with why you're entertained by it in the first place. It's why I enjoy talking so much about, like, creators who really inspire me and, like, videos that I've watched that, like, mean a lot to me. One video that I watched recently that, like, is probably one of my favorite videos that I have ever watched is P-Chal's Pokemon Run and Bun Nuzlocke video. It is a, like, 3.5 hour, like, cinematic fucking experience. And that video, I genuinely think, if you're an enjoyer of Pokemon content, is one of the best things on the internet. And the reason why I enjoyed it so much is not just because I just like that video in a vacuum. It's because I've been someone who's enjoyed the content that that one creator has put out for a couple of years. And that video was the next evolution of their stuff. It was the next evolution of what their content could be. So I wasn't just attached, I wasn't just emotionally invested in the video itself. I became emotionally invested into the creation of it and the creator of it. And I don't mean that in a parasocial sense. Obviously, like, there's a lot of things to say about, you know, parasocial, being parasocial with someone on the internet. For the people who somehow aren't familiar with that term, it essentially means having a one-sided relationship with someone on the internet, in the sense that you know them, but they don't know you. Which is what happens with a lot of creators, especially creators who really try to build a closer connection with their audience. And I feel like I'm a creator who really tries to build a close connection with my audience. But I wouldn't say that I'm creating a parasocial network, so to speak. I do very clearly distinguish between, like, Rosa Nagashi, the creator, and name redacted, the person. Those are two different people. Those are fundamentally two different people. They may act very similarly, and they may have the same mannerisms, but there's a divide. There is a divide, and every creator will have a divide like that. Some people won't draw that divide at name. Some people will just draw that divide at whenever the camera's off. When the camera's off, they go back to being themselves, and when the camera's on, or when they're writing a social media post, or when they're interacting with their community on Discord or wherever, they are their creator, and the moment they stop doing that, they are themselves. And everyone has that. Like, how do I explain this? Oh, dude, this fucking song from Legends Arceus, oh my god. In ages since I've heard this one. I've completely lost my train of thought. See, this is what I mean. I have the same mannerisms as I do when the camera's not on, because I do this shit all the time. But I enjoyed that video because I am attached to that creator's success. I am emotionally invested in watching that creator succeed, because I think what they're doing is cool, and I want to see them do cool things. And when they post something that goes above and beyond what they have previously done and is even cooler, that gets an emotional reaction out of me, because that means that I get to see them improve. And the reason why that Peach Owl Run and Bun video is one of my favorite videos on the internet is because it is genuinely the culmination of like a decade of Nuzlocke content on the internet. Not just his content on the internet, mind you. Like, it feels like a decade of Pokemon Nuzlocks made that video possible. And as someone who has been watching that kind of content for a long, long time, that video meant so much to me, and I connected with that on like an interpersonal level. AI is not going to be able to do that. Because an AI is just gonna, like, take what it sees and mishmash it together to make something new. An AI is never going to evolve. You're not going to be able to watch character growth through someone making AI-generated content, because there is no character, and the growth is entirely facilitated by the data that's being put into it. So, unless the data that's being put into it is evolving, the AI isn't evolving. But if the data that's putting into it is evolving, that means that there's human-generated content out there somewhere that's already made that evolution, and the AI just hasn't caught up yet. So, you're maybe watching an evolution and some form of growth, but that growth is not... That growth doesn't belong to that AI. The growth belongs to the data that was being used to feed it, right? And the reason why I think that human content will always be better is purely because humans have the ability to evolve. Humans have the ability to come up with something that hasn't been done before. And that something may be utter dog shit. That something may be just bad, and it may not, it may suck. It probably will suck. 99% of all things are crap. Well, I'm a believer of that quote. It was a sci-fi writer who came up with that quote. Oh my god, I can't for the life of me remember their name. 99% of all things are crap. Sturgeon's Law. There it is. 90% of everything is crap. Theodore Sturgeon is that's like his theory, and I believe in that theory, but only to an extent. in the extent that, I believe to it in the extent that 90% of all things are crap, because if the 90% of crap didn't exist, the 10% that is good wouldn't exist either. Right? I'm not saying that if you make something, there's a 90% chance that it sucks, or like that 90% of the stuff that you have made sucks. I'm just saying that over the course of everything that you've made, there are probably things that you've discarded. That's way too hype, man. I need to assemble a playlist of my own for this shit at some point. Like 90% of the stuff that you've discarded and 90% of the stuff that you've thought about, 90% of the ideas that you've had that never even made it on paper are crap, because if you didn't go through the whole thought process of going past all of those crap ideas and concepts and things and discarding them or uploading them, putting them out there, and then later realizing why they suck or like learning from it, you wouldn't be able to make the 10% that's good. So I'm not saying that, oh dude, it sucks that like 90% of everything I see sucks. No, because that's not the case. Way more than 10% of what I see is good. But that's because personally, each of those people has gone through 90% of their stuff. An AI can't decide on like, an AI can't have that growth of like making crap for 90%. It's not that if you ask an AI to generate 10 images that one of them will be good and the other 9 will be shit. There's so much that you can say about this. And I hope that like my yapping is somewhat enjoyable because I'm getting very existential. This is what I mean though, like I've learned so fucking much of like yapping on the, I sucked at this years ago. I really did. I sucked at like keeping a train of thought going. 90% of me trying to do that in the past is not entertaining and not fun and it's not good. But because I've not just learned how to do it better, but I've also, like, I'm mentally in a much better space than I used to be. And that's why I'm able to do stuff like that now. Oh. Ooh, you're gonna fucking throw... You're gonna throw the Legends Arceus Eterna Forest at me? Alright, I'm here. A Heartwood, I believe it's called. But, like, I've learned and I've improved. And I believe that 90% of the stuff that I've made, probably more than 90%, is shit. And here's the thing, maybe 2-3 years down the line, if I somehow find myself looking back at this stream, I will go, man, that stream was shit. Probably. I mean, that's what I'm doing now with my stuff from like 3-4 years ago, which at the time I thought was pretty decent. If I go look at like stuff that's on my channel from like multiple years ago, like if I look at oldest videos, oh my god, yeah, 4 years ago, Destiny Lo-Fi Hip-Hop Beats to Wait for Beyond Light 2, that's an awful, like the music part of that, which is the part of the video that I worked on, is not good. Like, it is not good. I can do so much better than that. But I wouldn't have done so much better than that if I didn't do that first. Right? And that's the important thing. If I didn't fail with that first, I would not have made something that I'm genuinely still really proud of. The Destiny Lo-Fi collection, I know at this point it's like 2 years old at this point. More than 2 years old. It's almost like, it's 2.5 years old, right? It was November 2023 that went up? November 2022? Fuck. Oh my god, yeah, no, wait, 2022, yeah, that makes sense. I'm still very proud of that. I don't think it's perfect. I think there are some things that I could have done better, and I definitely have so many more, like, music production tactics that I know about now, that, like, if I knew those things today, I would change so much. Even just from the last 2 weeks. I've learned stuff in the last 2 weeks that if I only applied that new knowledge that I've gained in the last 2 weeks, I could change that entire album. From, like, a production and mixing perspective. And I genuinely believe that. But I'm still happy with it. I'm still happy that I did it. That very first lo-fi video that I think is, like, not good, I'm still happy that I did it, because if I hadn't done it, then what would anyone else, I wouldn't have done all the other things that I did after that, right? If it wasn't for that stuff. So, I guess what I'm trying to say, to, like, kind of, like, put a bow on this whole topic, to, like, kind of wrap it up somewhat, is the barrier to entry for creating something is low. You, at any point, can decide that you want to make something and you want to share it with other people. At any point, you can decide to do that. Obviously, you need to actually do it. You don't just think about it and then it's done. You actually need to do it. But when you do, and this is the coolest part about it, every time you put something out there, there's a record of the thing that you put out. There's a time and a day attached to it, and at any point for the rest of your life, you can go back and look at what you were like back then, and look at what your creativity was like, what your state of being was like at that time, what your ability to make something was like at the time. And because only when you make something and share it with someone, even if it's throwing it out into the void with the intent of sharing it to someone, like you upload it to YouTube with the intent of other people seeing it and nobody sees it. Like, that happens. There are so many YouTube videos with 0 views, and they will never get a singular view, ever. They will stay at 0 views for the rest of eternity. But only then, when you put something out there, the finality that's attached to that, I can't go back to any of my old videos and, like, redo them and upload them again. I could do that, but what's the point in doing that? Maybe, like, there's obviously, like a, you can learn from it. Like, I could go back to an old video and try to remake it. Try to, like, remaster it, as it will. Just to see if I can do a better job, and I could learn from it. But even then, still, if I make a new version of it, at some point, that new version gets uploaded. And then that's final. And you can't change it. You can make a new version again, but every single time you do it, you finalize something. And when you finalize something, only when it's finalized, only when you decide that it's done, can you start learning something about it. Give me something a bit more chill, please. Thank you. Only when you finalize something can you start learning from it. So please, if you have a passion about whatever it is, it doesn't have to be a passion that's even related to, like, posting something on the internet. It may be a passion for doing something, like, physical or in person, or like, it may be a passion for a certain kind of office job. Like, if you're passionate about something, do it. Do something with it. All of the people that are going to you and saying, oh, you probably shouldn't try and turn this passion into a career, don't try to turn the passion into a career, but do try and develop your passion and make things with it And whether the feasibility of turning it into a career will one day be a door that opens for you is something that you don't have to worry about. If you have a tiny amount of free time, just make something and put it out there. It can be shit, it can be bad, it can be awful, it can be something that a week later you hate and you want to take it off the internet. And if you do, take it off. I've taken stuff off the internet that I don't like. And you should too. If you really don't like it and you don't want other people to see it, just take it off and then make something new. And hopefully that new thing will be better. And then a week later, you're looking back at it and you're like, I still think I like that. There might be a few things that I want to change about it, but like I don't want to delete it. And then when you reach that point, you make a new thing. And then maybe when you make that new thing, you compare it to the old thing and you're like, wow, that is better. And eventually, you're gonna get to a point where you can decide for yourself, do you want to make more stuff? Or are you happy with the stuff that you've made? Or are you like kind of tired of making stuff? Are you not really fulfilled? And you can leave it. And you can stop. At any point, you can stop. But you can also do what I do. And what many other people do. And that is realizing that you actually get a lot of fulfillment out of this shit. And this shit actually makes you very happy. And while there are hardships, and while there are struggles, hell, I've had struggles in the last 2 weeks. I've worked on like the biggest project I've ever worked on. I've written piano for a song written by a #1 platinum J-pop songwriter. I have worked with music producers that I have looked up to in this industry for a long fucking time. I have had the privilege to do vocal production on the voices of 3 of the most influential people in my entire medium. Right? All of that. And I struggled so much in doing all of that. I had genuine panic attacks and breakdowns during that process. There was a point where I needed to step back for a couple of hours to just take my head away from it, and I couldn't really. But none of that went flawlessly. None of it did. And that's not the point. The point is that I now look back on these 2 weeks and I go, I enjoyed myself. I had the time of my life, and the thing that the final tangible thing that we produced as a result of all of that is something I will forever cherish for the rest of my life, even if a year from now I will go back to it and think, oh, I really wish we could have changed some of that up. Even now, I'm listening to the song, and even now, like, I might notice incredibly tiny things that I'm like, oh man, I really wish I could have edited that in the tune time. Like this one part of the main vocal, I really wish I could have tightened that up a little bit. The piano, one of the notes is overlapping a little bit too much, and I wish I could have changed that. And they're nitpicky, and they always will be. But like, I will forever be happy with the experience that I've had. And I want to have more of those experiences, including the hardships. Because if it was not for those hardships, I would not have felt so fulfilled finishing it. The main reason why I feel so fulfilled after finishing that project is because of how difficult it was, and because of how the odds looked impossible that it was gonna be as good as it was. It is it's a miracle that project finished. It's a miracle that with over 130 people, we were able to make something of that quality in 12 days. Also, 130 people who, at least most of us, did not know each other. Like, that's the crazy thing that you have to remember. This wasn't an experienced team of 130 people. These were 130 people picked from all different walks of life, from all different parts of the industry. Some people even not in the industry. Some people just being friends of friends, or people who just watched Gura and wanted to do something but didn't really know what, so like they figured they might try to sing for the first time, right? It's 130 people who did not know each other, Oh, Buzz, hey, what's up? Welcome in. We are having an existential conversation about what it means to make something, what it means to do something with your creativity, and I'm being very passionate about it. I've been yapping for like 2 hours about it. Oh yeah, by the way, the announcement, you can look at the full thing on Twitter, but Flashbang, I have a manager now, and a lot of cool things are going to be happening in the next couple of months. And a couple of things are going to be changing, and a lot of doors are opening for me that I didn't think would ever open for me, but it's really, really cool. You can read the full thing on Twitter. That was the big announcement, in case you missed it. But yeah, like, what I was saying is, like, it's crazy that with a team of 130 people, we were able to make an original song, an original music video with animation, all based on, like, a story and a character that we were all, like, or based on a character, on a person that we all really enjoyed, and writing that we, like, were really invested in, and none of us knew each other. None of us knew each other. All of us just wanted to make something. All of us just wanted to contribute to something. Everyone had a different vision of what that contribution would be. Everyone did something differently. Everyone had a different idea of what it needed to be that they wanted to do. And it came together because everyone tried. Every single person on that team tried to make something. They tried to add something and they tried to do something. And that's why I'm saying that if you have some sort of a creative passion, just do it. It can be a 2-second video. It can be the most awful thing that you have ever seen, and it can be something that in 2 days from now you're gonna hate. But you'll learn from it. And you live and you learn. You hang on the edge of tomorrow, and you piss on the moon, you know? Sometimes we all have to piss on the moon someday. God, my brain is going all sorts of places, and some people are going to understand the references I'm making, and some people are going to go, what the fuck is she talking about? How do you deal with the thought of whatever you make you feel is not worth sharing, no matter how much blood, sweat, and tears you pour into it? That's a good question. That's a really good question. I deal with that thought by not dealing with it. That's not entirely true. It's not that thought isn't in the back of my mind. It is. It obviously is. But here's the thing that, and it's something that I've learned, especially over the last 2 weeks, but even before then, you cannot be the sole person deciding what is not worth sharing. You can't be the sole arbiter of that, because you have a limited perspective on the stuff that you've made. Your perspective on the thing that you've made is extremely narrow and limited. Because even if, like, if you take a piece of music, whenever I work on music, typically, when I think it's finished, I will leave it, go to bed, wake up the next morning, go back to my PC, listen to it, and point out 30 things I don't like about it. Just by changing my perspective, by, like, taking my ears away from it, and taking my thoughts away from it, I come back the day after, and everything's changed, right? And I find 30 more things that I want to change about it. And that is perpetual. That is genuinely perpetual, because you are a slightly different person every day. You have slightly different thoughts every day. You are behaving slightly different every day. Your brain works in slightly different ways every single day, because that is just human evolution. So you can't be the sole person deciding what is worth sharing, because if you are the sole person deciding on what does and does not get shared, you won't ever share anything. Because every single time you wake up the next morning and you look at the thing that you've made, you're going to point out 30 things that you don't like about it and consider it not worth sharing. And if you do ever share it, you're gonna come back to it the next day, and you're gonna look at it, and when it's already been shared, you're gonna notice 30 things that you don't like about it, and now there's nothing you can do about it. And that means that the next time, you're gonna be a bit more cautious, and you're not gonna want to share it. So the trick is to just share it. Because the thing is, I think this is specifically an artist thing, I don't reflect on my work this way. That's fair. It is very much a, like, creativity kind of thing. It depends on what industry you're in, but, like, when it comes to, like, art, music, writing, that sort of stuff, like a physical sculpture, a piece of craft work, mostly referring to writing lyrics in my case. Oh, yeah. No, you see, the thing about this here is, right, once you put something out there, it's final. You can't change it. It's out there, you can delete it, and you can upload a new version, but that thing that you put out there cannot be changed. And the cool part about that is that you can learn from it. Because you can learn from it more than by just waking up every day and deciding that you want to make some changes. Because if you just do that and you never put anything out there and you never consider something finished or, like, worthy of posting, then you're never going to actually learn, because you're never going to properly internalize why you liked or did not like something. In order to properly internalize it, you need to stop working on it. And you need to put it out there, and you need to take your mind off of it and come back to it at some point later. Or watch other people's reactions to it. Like, what do other people think about the stuff that you've made? Because other people's definition of what is worth sharing is going to be different from yours. And, like, no matter what, that's gonna be different because they weren't the person creating it. The initial draft of Piano for The World Outside that I sent, I thought was not very good. I was kind of just messing about. And even when I finished my piano arrangement for The World Outside and I submitted it to Daryl Barnes, Starlight Daryl on social media, incredibly talented composer and an absolute fucking sweetheart, I sent her specifically a file that she would be able to still edit, because I thought, this isn't perfect, I need someone else to edit this. And only a couple days later is when I find out that she literally put the entire piano arrangement that I wrote into the final song unedited. She did not edit it. She did not change a single note. I think she rendered it with a different piano, but that was always to be expected. I was always, like, expecting that because I didn't know what she was working on the orchestra side of things. So the way that the piano needs to sound might have been different in order to properly fit into the mix, right? So that makes sense to me. But I thought that she was gonna edit the piano playing itself, and she didn't. Because her definition of what was worth keeping in the final product was different from mine. Because she wasn't the one who made that piano. And so her definition was different. Not saying like that, like her definition is worse or better, but it's different. And the only reason that the piano made it into the final instrumental is because I was not the sole arbiter of deciding what was deserving of being shared. I was not the sole person making that decision. And that's the only reason that that made it in. Because I wasn't the sole person who decided that I wanted, or that should be shared. And that's why I will forever be a supporter of just putting something out there. Just share it. Even if you don't think it's perfect, even if you don't think it's worthy of putting it out there, there will be someone out there who thinks the opposite. There will be someone out there who thinks that it is worth putting out. And the inverse is true as well. If you think something is really, really worth sharing, there will be someone out there who will wish that you hadn't. There will be someone out there who does not like what you shared and rather would not have seen it. Always. That's true for everything. That's true for everything that you put on the internet. But that's kind of the beauty of it, is like, you are your own biggest hater and greatest supporter kind of thought. Yes, kind of, yes. You have to accept that eventually you reach a point in the creative process where the next step is to put it out there so it's no longer yours. Eventually, you reach a point in the creative process where you have to hand it off and have other people do with it whatever the fuck they want. Which is difficult. That is a difficult decision to have to make. That is a really, really difficult decision. Quickly, I need to quickly put an at everyone in the server. I completely forgot to put the manager announcement in the server. Bing incoming, brace for impact. Wahoo! Fucking yippee! Bing incoming, brace for impact. God, I completely lost my train of thought. I love having ADHD, man. Do 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 do. I fucking love this arrangement of Lankusa Town so fucking much, man. Should change the way I think about it then, try not to think about it as much. I've had several lines I'd readily rework or throw away, but that one line I like, I can't say here. I think there's also a very different definition of put it out there depending on who you are as a person. For me, my putting something out there will typically be handing an art piece to a friend and asking them to help me vibe check it. Yeah, but like that's putting it out there, exactly. Like putting it out there doesn't mean on the internet for every single person to see and for every single soul in the universe to criticize it. Putting it out there just means sharing it with someone or sharing it somewhere. And the cool thing about it is that at that point, it's no longer just yours. At that point, someone else will have an opinion about it. Someone else will have thoughts. Because us humans, we're so good at having opinions and having thoughts. That's like one of our like #1 skills. Our skill isn't having good opinions and good thoughts. We suck at having those. But we are very good at having thoughts, because we're kind of forced to have them. The only time that you don't have thoughts is when you're no longer here, right? Even when you're dreaming, you're having thoughts. Emma, didn't I already vibe check that line before? Wasn't that based on a joke that I made at one point? I'm pretty sure that was based on a joke I made at one point. It is, yeah. But yeah, like, just sharing it with somebody, from that point onward, it means someone else will have an opinion about it. Someone else will change your mind. I think something I can say is genuinely priceless when it comes to creative works is finding someone who gives you genuine but kind feedback that can add to the enjoyment of sharing. Genuinely. Like, so much. And honestly, this is why I feel like Atlas and I work so well together in, like, our relationship when it comes to, like, the creative things that both of us are doing, is because both of us are doing creative things in completely different fields. Like, yes, we're both still, like, you know, a part of... We're both still, like, active in, like, VTubing and all that sort of... all that stuff, but Atlas is very much focused on visual art, like, art as in drawing stuff, or physical art, like crocheting, or cross-stitching, or, knitting, sewing. For me, my art is audio-related and music-related, and we are both in very completely different fucking fields. But that means that Atlas showing me something, even if it's not done, like it's very early and like rough and concept-y, the way that I can react to it can be like, I can get very excited about Atlas sharing stuff with me, even though for them, they might not think it's great yet, or they might be like still thinking about like, oh, I don't know, something might be improvable. And the same thing's true in the inverse way. I can, for the piano video, the piano version video of The World Outside, Atlas was literally in my office, just like on the floor on their iPad, just drawing something, and I was writing the script for that video. And I was out loud occasionally, like when I'd finish writing a line, I would just say it out loud and just get Atlas's like raw opinions on it on the spot. And sometimes when I wasn't very happy with it, Atlas would go, actually, no, I think that's quite nice. Or when I was still unsure, and Atlas would say, I think that's so much better. I think that's good. I would suddenly also go like, hey, you know what? Actually, you're right. It is like that is fine. Or like that is like good enough. And I shouldn't have to change that further. I wasn't putting it out there on the internet yet, but I was putting it out there to someone else who had a thought about it. Having people hype you up, but still be critical makes me more comfortable sharing, because I know the intent is to help me improve and not to drag me down. Exactly. And dude, I'm gonna put this image up on screen again because it's too true. But like, man, working on The World Outside has really changed my perspective on everything. Because I met so many people who give me that constructive criticism. Riku, I swear to God, when the first draft of the mix was sent, yeah, sorry, I made this for the fucking World Outside group chat. We were chatting at one point, and like that idea popped into my head, and I was like, that's way too funny not to make, because someone was like, oh, it's like the one person standing in the corner of the party just going, they don't know I worked on The World Outside. And then I thought about that for like 2 seconds. I was like, okay, but I can't make that meme because everyone fucking knows I worked on The World Outside because it's all I'm fucking talking about. So then I made this version of it and sent it in there. But I vividly remember, I was working together with Shiro on the mix for the song. By the way, Shiro Beats, not only someone that I look up to greatly, but now I've finally had the pleasure of working together with for the first time, and holy shit, she's a sweetheart. I fucking love her. She is fantastic. I can't wait to do more stuff with her in the future. She has some fantastic work out there already. Most Iron Mouse original songs, like if you've ever, especially the more recent ones, like Time to Feast, Cry For Me, produced partially by Shiro. Shiro helped produce those. Legitimately, some of my favorite VTuber Ori songs of all time. Still can't believe that I got to work with them. I know I'm fangirling like fucking crazy. And I swear to God, Xena, if you're watching, you better not clip the shit out of context and send it to her, because I'm gonna kill you. Look, I get so much enjoyment out of watching other people create stuff, and then being able to make stuff with them together is awesome. But anyway, I was working with Shiro on the mix for the song, And I remember, like, I didn't really know of any other points. There were a couple things that we still wanted to fix, but, like, we were both just getting tunnel visioned on, like, a few things, and we were just not seeing the forest for the trees anymore. And so we decided, let's send it off to Riku, and we'll see what he thinks. And we got back 2 messages, because the first one went over the Discord character limit with, like, changes that needed to happen from a first listen. And if I say it like this, you may think, like, we were fucking, like, that was soul-crushing to receive. Like, that was, like, oh, it's fucking over. Like, we suck. We are awful at our job. No. I did have a tiny bit of a panic attack, but that wasn't because of how many things there were. That was because of one specific thing that I knew was wrong with it, and I couldn't figure it out. And obviously, he pointed it out as well, because he noticed it too. And I just didn't know how to fix it. I've been trying to fix it for like 2 hours, and I couldn't find it. And then it turns out that he was like, oh, actually, no, I know exactly what that is. I know how to fix that. And both of us just didn't. Like, Shiro and I both didn't really realize that that's something we could do. So, Riku suggested a fix, and 10 minutes later, it was fixed. So, even then, like, just because we shared it, like, we found a fix to something that we already knew was bad, we already knew needed fixing, we just didn't know how. But we got back, like, an entire, like, essay with timestamps of, like, you should change this here, you should change this here, you should change this here. This doesn't sound quite right. Could you make this a little louder? Could you make this a little quieter? Could you turn the low end up here? Could you turn the high end down there? Like, all those kinds of things, right? And that was not discouraging. That was genuinely so helpful. I was so unsurprised to learn that Riku is a teacher. I was so unsurprised to learn that, because he really does give teacher energy. He really does. Because it's also just because I've learned how to handle feedback a lot more over the last couple of years. Like, I used to be a lot worse at it. I used to be a lot worse at handling criticism, even if it was constructive. That's something that I definitely I would say I've gotten better at. Not perfect. I definitely have more to learn, but I've gotten a lot better at, like, accepting criticism and accepting feedback. I used to be so fucking awful at that, man. I used to get so heated over just one person pointing out a single, like, character flaw. And I would just fucking lose it, and I would get so incredibly defensive. I would try and, like, justify why they're wrong, and try and, like, come up with every single possible reason why they're wrong, and get genuinely so fed up over it. I don't do that anymore. I used to be like that. I still do it a little bit. I can get defensive. I still struggle with it. I'm not perfect. I can still get defensive if someone points out something that I'm insecure about. But yeah, like, sharing something with someone and having them come back to you with genuine, like, feedback and criticism of how the thing that you're working on could be better is one of the nicest things someone could do to you. Because at the end of the day, like, you have to remember why they're doing it. If it is I'm not talking about hating. I'm talking about genuine, constructive criticism and feedback. If someone is providing genuine, instructive criticism and feedback, that's because they want you to put out the best thing that you can. They want you to be successful. They want the final product that you make to be something that is as close to perfect as you could realistically make it. It's because they care. They care about the thing that you're making, and they care about you. So, as in, if we take putting it out there as just sharing it with somebody, like, it's the best thing that you can do. And so, Emma, in the sense, like, what you're saying is, like, how do you know when, like, how do you know when something is, like, ready to be put out there? Or, like, how do you deal with, like, not wanting to put something out there? You've already put it out there. You just sent me something that you worked on, that you wrote. and like ask me for advice. That is putting it out there. It's just not putting it out there. Like there's different orders of magnitude of putting it out there. There's sharing it with one person that you really, really trust. There's sharing it with a group of friends. There's sharing it with a community that is adjacent to the thing that you're sharing. And then there's sharing it on a place where anyone who wants to find it could find it. Right? There's so many different layers to it. Oh, dude, I fucking love the Sinjo Ruins arrangement so much. This is such a good fucking piece of music. Sorry. Oh, I love getting distracted by my own background music. This is why I shouldn't put background music on my streams, or why I should have it muted for myself. I'm enjoying creating with people I love. Yeah, exactly. But waiting for inspiration to hit me to write more and for a background track to sing it to one step at a time. Oh, sure. Creativity is a one step at a time kind of thing. But you've shared it with people. You did things with it. And yeah, that's something you gotta remember, is you've already put it out there, just not beyond the people that you currently want to share it with. But there's so many layers to creativity, man. And I could talk about this for another 3 hours. I'm probably gonna stop soon because my voice is getting a little bit tired. I've been doing a lot of yapping. I did have a lot of fun though. I did also say that I'd be playing piano today, and I don't think I've done that. Oops. I guess here, have a little There we go, I've played piano. Oh my god, Emma, fuck you. Fuck you. No, you didn't read me. No, I'm not predictable. No, I'm not, no, fuck you. I'm not predictable. Shut up. I'm not predictable. I'm a unique soul who can do unique things. Fuck. The best part is that I assumed you were gonna do the I'm not predictable. It's over. It's fucking, no, we're not doing this. No. Where's the, yeah, there it is. All right, cool. Oh, great, now the background music ended too. Well, fuck me. God damn it. Love you too, goob. Oh no, don't use the word goob. I'll think about Gura again. No, I'm... But yeah, no, seriously though. So, TLDR of the entire stream, I have a manager now. Their name's Typho. They're really, really cool. They're gonna help me do cool things. What things? You'll have to find out. We're still learning that as we go. I'm still figuring that out. TBD, yeah, exactly. But it means a lot of cool things in my future, and a lot of doors opening for me that haven't previously opened, or I haven't known how to open, or how to try to open. And there's someone gonna be helping me with a little crowbar to pry them open for me. You know? I don't have to break in on my own. There's someone who can help me with it. So that's really, really cool. Number 2, creativity is important. Art is important. Your work is important. Keep doing it. Keep making stuff. Keep doing things that you're happy about. Keep doing things you're happy with. No matter what field you work in. No matter what field you work in, you can always try to make something in that field that you're proud of that you want to keep making more of. And you want to keep doing more of. So, genuinely, fucking chase your dreams. I ended my management announcement with it. Flashbang incoming. That's not the right flashbang. Nope, that's not the right one either. Where the fuck? Oh, here it is. Yeah, stay safe, stay comfy, and chase your dreams. I do mean it. I do genuinely mean it. Please, please chase your dreams. Please try and do something with the energy that you have, that you are proud of. I always think of the tombstone analogy. That was a developer. I don't remember who it was, but there was a game developer that used the tombstone analogy is, we want to create something and help people with creating something that they think is worthy to put on their tombstone. That it's like defining, we want everyone to have a tombstone moment where it's something that they've done that's so defining that if they were to somehow die a week after it's done, that's something that they would want to put on their tombstone. Right now, tombstone moment for me, the world outside, 100%. If I were to get run over by a bus tomorrow, that would be something that I would want to be remembered for. Obviously, I'm not planning to get hit by a bus tomorrow. I have so many more creative ideas inside of me and so many more things that I want to do, and I'm so excited for doing so many of those things. But like that's the important thing. I've made something, and I've helped make something that I would be okay if that was my legacy. And with that, I'm going to end. I'm gonna end the stream. I hope that y'all have a wonderful weekend. It's Friday. I completely forgot it's Friday. I will not be streaming over the weekend. I have a lot of work to catch up on. I'm gonna be catching up on work right after the stream is done. Thank you all so much for being here. As soon as I have more updates to share regarding what my manager and I are getting up to, you'll be the first one to hear it. Join the Discord if you haven't already. Link down below in the description on YouTube or in the About Me section of Twitch. Yeah, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend. And I will see you all again next week for sure for some Genshin. We're going to be playing the new Archon quest when that comes out on Wednesday. So I hope that that's going to be really, really fun. And with that, I wish you a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, y'all. Stay comfy. Chase your dreams. And good night. Bye-bye.